wonderful attendees present here. My name is Mohammed Numan, and I welcome you all to this episode of District Leadership Talk. Dear District 79 Director DTM Samir Kamal, dear Presenter DTM Charles Gate, distinguished fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, and welcome guests, a warm good evening to you all. From this point, self-unmute and public chat will be disabled, and your questions and comments can be sent as private message to the concerned. All video should be turned off till you are asked to turn it on. To conduct this event, we have with us a leader who is doing his HPL project, a fantastic organizer holding the position of webmaster in District 79, member of Serendip Toastmasters Club. Let us all welcome our host, Toastmaster Muhammad Fariz.
Thank you, DTM Nomad, for the glamorous opening of this session and the generous introduction about me. Hi, I welcome you all to the weekly district talk, top global leaders from all over the world to share their experience and thought. I'm so excited to host from this District 79, which serves the central, eastern, and northern part of Saudi Arabia. For your questions, please write them in the chat box to Toastmaster Fazmi Safan, and Dr. Salim Hakim will handle the question and answer segment as a moderator. Before I start the event, I would like to call a leader. He's our beloved district director, a charismatic leader, a visionary leader who is behind this program. I want to welcome him to welcome all the audience and share a few words. DTM Samir Kamal, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fariz, for leading this event. And actually, not only this event, the series. Thank you for that. And welcome to our beloved speaker and leader, Toastmaster Charles Gates, and for our wonderful participants and attendees today. Believe me, today you will jump from your chairs. I tested that. I was one of his audience in Denver, and believe me, I was amazed how he in his training made us jump from our chairs, believing in what he's saying and applying it immediately in the moment that he spoke with. You will enjoy Charles today. You will enjoy his speech and his workshop. So I will not take much time from you. Please enjoy the session today. Thank you, and back to our amazing leader, Toastmaster Fariz.
Thank you, DTM Samir Kamal, our beloved leader. And you gave a clue about the event. Now, we came to the climax. And our speaker today has a message to our members in the district and our beloved guest. Not only a message, but some thoughts and wisdom. I kindly request everyone to get maximum benefit out of it. I will not take much time. I will leave you with our speaker. Our speaker, Charles, has been a Toastmaster since 2006. He has served in all club positions. He is the past District 66 Director, which covers most of the states of Virginia. In less than 60 days, he will complete his term as a Region 7 advisor, which covers Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and much of the East Coast of the United States. Please help me welcome DTM Charles Gate as he presents Top Hat. DTM Charles Gates, over to you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, District 79. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be listening in. And thank you for the humble introductions. I did look at you on the dashboard, and District 79, you are to be reckoned with. It is amazing how many clubs, districts, divisions, and members you have, and how they are all excelling from the fantastic leadership that District 79 gives them. What I want to talk to you today is about Top Hat. What exactly does Top Hat even mean? If you saw my picture, you notice I had this white top hat on. Why did I have that on? Because I've always been a fan of clothing. Men's dapper clothing from the 1920s to 30s, how they wore the top hats and they wore those elegant gear as they went on about their daily lives. It always intrigued me. Why does that and how does that pertain to what I'm going to talk about today? What I want to talk to you about is leadership. In your profession, in your clubs, in your divisions, in your district, in our Toastmasters world. Unfortunately, fortunately, there are really good leaders. But on the flip side, some of our leaders are not so good. Just like if you're in the IT department or IT at work, or you're in the education field, the finance field, whatever you happen to do for a living, there are those that do it really good. There are those that do it not so good. Ask yourself this question. From a leadership perspective in our organization that we all love and hold dearly to our hearts, Toastmasters International, which category do you fit in? Which category do you want to fit in? The good leader or the not so good leader? Obviously, we all want to be part of the good, the outstanding leaders, those leaders that people just remember. And when they see you, they jump for joy because your leadership style is so invigorating and inspiring. That's ultimately what we all want to be. I want to give you some fundamentals of leadership. And if you follow these fundamentals, chances are you will be an even better leader than you are today. And that leadership style comes from an acronym called TOP HAT. TOPHAT. Exactly what does that mean and how does it apply? I'm about to share that with you right now, District 79, if you would allow me to. The T in TOP HAT stands for transparent. As a leader, and I want you to look at your life in your work and in Toastmasters specifically. I want you to apply these terms to your life right now, today. Are you transparent? Do you let the people who look up to you know what's going to go on in the near future and in the far future? Or do they have to figure it out when it happens, when the load is dropped in their lap and say, here it is? Or are you taking a proactive approach and letting your people know what's going on before it even happens? That's transparency. And if you're not transparent with your subordinates, chances are they may not trust you to communicate the information that you're giving to them. The transparency, it is a must in terms of good leadership. And again, I'm not talking about mediocre leadership. I'm talking about good leadership. The O in TOP HAT stands for open-mindedness. Years ago, 2015 to be exact, there was a young lady that came into my company. Her name is Emily. Emily had just graduated from just graduated from college. She was the top of her class. She was a real go-getter. Emily got her dream job with my company. While we were there, she realized within 30 days of being a brand new employee from college straight here, realizing that there was a way that we could conduct business in the company where we can cut productivity and cut labor, which means ultimately raising the bottom line. In essence, isn't that what we all want from a business standpoint? Make more money with less resources. She found a way to do this. But she was a new employee. She went to her immediate supervisor, Bob. Bob, I've got an idea that could save us money today. Thousands of dollars by tomorrow. Millions of dollars within a few years. Bob, being a very open-minded leader, told him, he said, you know what? I agree with what you're saying, Emily. Let's go and talk to my supervisor, Eric. Now, Eric is the type of guy. He hated life. He hated the company. He hated his job. He hated his people. He was the kind of guy, if he was walking down the sidewalk and saw an ant, he would go out of his way to step on it. He was just that kind of guy, just mean and miserable and always lip poked out and just mad about everything and everyone. They took it up to Eric, and Eric immediately saw the proposal and said, you know what, that's not going to work. Let's do it away with it. Emily and Bob, they were persistent, and they knew that it would work. And guess what they did? They went around Eric because they knew that the CEO of the company, Mary, was very open-minded. In fact, she encouraged people to come into her office, knock on the door, and lay your proposal out if it was for the betterment of the entire organization. They did that. They went to see Mary behind Eric's back. And when they laid their proposal out to Mary, she immediately looked at it and says, wow, we have to do this. And if it doesn't work, oh well, what have we got to lose? Let's try it out. Let's make it happen. Go for it. Gave them the green light. Emily and Bob were ecstatic. Within a few months, they saved $1.2 million to the company. Within 1 year, the company saved just under $1 billion US. No matter how you slice it, that's a big deal. But it could only happen with the open-mindedness of Emily, her immediate supervisor, Bob, and the CEO, the decision maker, Mary, to make that happen. Had Mary been like her other manager, Eric, that would have never happened. Mary knew that having an open mind would open the company up to new suggestions from the younger people who had innovative ideas that some of the older ones never thought about or never thought would work. Having an open mind as a leader is a must. If you do not have one, you will suffer the consequences. You may be successful in your own mind, but think about it. Think about it, District 79. With an open mind, anything is possible because you don't know it all, but there are people on your teams who have wonderful ideas. But if they don't feel as though you are open-minded enough to take that idea in, they're not going to come to you. They're going to bottle it up. And unfortunately, they may take it somewhere else. So transparency and open-mindedness, two of the key fundamentals of being a successful, effective leader. The P. The P stands for positive attitude. We all have bad days. There's some days we wake up in the morning and we just want to lie there and soak in the sun and just relax and say, you know what, to heck with everything. I'm just going to sit here and hang out for the entire day. But we know in reality, that's usually not an option. We've got to get up. We've got to go make some money somehow, some way. But having a positive mindset. We all know those people who go into the places of business, who are not smiling, who come in with the lip poked out. They're just mad at the whole world for who knows what reason. District 79, I'll say again, leave your problems in the car. Leave your problems at home. Don't bring your problems and your issues into the place of business. And since we're all Toastmasters, leave your problems outside of the club. Think about it. Think about some of the members in your club. Some of those members who are not so positive in their attitudes. Well, I don't want to do that today. Or why are you doing this? Especially some of our more seasoned members. They should be the ones that are very open and happy and mindful and say, yeah, look, God, let's go. We can do this. Together, we can make it happen. But yet, we see all too often some of our more experienced leaders that don't have the positive mindset that is needed to take our organization to the next level. Ask yourself this question. Are you one of those people? And if you are, can you make that change? You may not be able to make it on your own, but surround yourself with a team that can help you make better decisions. So be transparent, have an open mind, have a positive attitude. The H in top hat means humble. Think about your biggest sports figures out there, regardless of what sport they may play. Football, doesn't matter. Think of some of your most popular athletes out there and ask yourself, why do you like these people? Chances are because they're humble. The more arrogant ones, even though they might be really good at what they do, when it comes to a public setting, when it comes to endorsing products, they're usually not the ones that ask to do that. It is the ones that are more humble, the ones that take it in and say, you know what, I know I'm good at this, but I want to challenge others to be just as good as me. I want to encourage them. Disney Resorts had a gentleman by the name of Lee Cockrell as the operations VP for over 18 years, covered the entire world in terms of the resort aspect or component of Disney Resorts. He had a philosophy for 18 years in Disney, and I'd like to share it with all of you. And I'd like you to adopt his philosophy. It is called R-A-R-E, and it simply stands for acknowledge, recognize, and empower. And I want you to think about that from a leadership perspective. Again, we're not talking just leadership, we're talking effective leadership. Because just because you have a title does not make you a leader. Leadership is defined by action, not titles. But I want you to think about that R technique. And I want you to put yourself in Lee Cockrell's shoes. And I'm asking you directly, are you acknowledging your people when they do a good job? Publicly, I'm not talking about in the club, in front of your peers. Are you letting the world know what they do? And proud to do so. Not taking all of the accolades yourself and sharing it with your team. Personally acknowledging those individuals who go above and beyond. Are you recognizing them publicly? So again, the world knows the accomplishments of this person. And lastly, are you empowering them to be the best that they can do, to keep on doing what they do? Because it's not only making an impact on them and making them a better person and a better leader, but it's making all of us rise up to the occasion and making all of us meet the challenges of today. I'll ask you again, and I'm talking directly to you. Are you doing that? And if not, my question to you, I know you're going to ask me questions, but my question to you is why not? Those who treat their people right, those people that you treat right, they will follow you to the end of the world. And those that you don't treat right, they will do only the minimum and leave it alone. So be humble and recognize others for the accomplishments that they do for the betterment of the team. Because as was said earlier, I started this mantra in Denver, and it is that we all, as Toastmasters, are part of a team. This is the ultimate team sport. Not one of us can be as successful as we could be without the support of our teams. We may be successful, but when we come together, guys, when we come together, we can accomplish anything. Anything that our minds think about, we can make happen because we developed and adopted that team sport philosophy. So be humble in your leadership journey. Whether you're coming in, thinking about it, or going out as a leader. Think about it. Be humble. Recognize others. Acknowledge, recognize, and empowers those people who look up to you. The A's in top hat stands for approachable. Can people come up to you and ask for advice? Or are you one of those that think you're higher than thou? I've got a title, so therefore go up the chain of commands. They see you at a district event. Can they come up to you and ask you a question? Or will you direct them to someone else? Well, I'm the district director. I'm the division director. Don't come to me. Come ask your area director. Or I'm an international director or higher. Are you approachable? Can they reach out and touch you? And when they do, will you give them an answer, an honest answer? Not the answer they specifically want to hear, but an honest answer that is going to genuinely answer the question that was asked. And lastly, guys, the T in top hat stands for stay at the top of your game. Stay on the top of your game. Not only when you wake up in the morning, not only when you eat breakfast in the morning, whether or not you eat breakfast, that's your prerogative, but all throughout the day. Stay on your top of your game. Whether you're in a Toastmaster setting, you're at work, you're doing things with your family, you're doing things with your company or business. Stay on top of your game. Don't let people see you sweat, because ultimately they are looking up to you. They may not say it, you may not know it, but you are. In fact, most of you, if not all, have had followers ever since you were old enough to go outside on your own. There was those little kids in the neighborhood who were peeking through the window, watching you, watching the way you spoke, watching the way you walked, watching the way you talked, watching the way you interacted with other people. Do people feel good when they, do people feel good when they come around you? Do you inspire them to be the best that they can be? And you don't have to be an extrovert. This isn't just for extroverts. This is for everyone. Because everyone has it within to be at the top of the game, not only in their own heads, but letting people out there know that I can do this. I am going to be transparent. I'm going to let people know what's going on before it even happens. If I know about it, you're going to know about it. And I know you can't always share information, but when it's applicable, do so. Just like Nike. Nike's slogan is just do it. When it comes to transparency, being on the top of your game. When it comes to being open-minded. When it comes to having a positive attitude. When it comes to being humble and approachable. Just do it. It may not be your skill set to do so, but do it anyway. Because at the end of the day, District 29, you will feel so good about yourself and how you conducted yourself. At the end of the day, District 79, Toastmasters International, and all of us listening in, it's up to all of us to inspire those that come behind us to be the best that they can be. And what I've given you were the simple fundamentals of leadership. And if you're not practicing every one of those fundamentals, you have work to do. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, DTM Charles. It was a wonderful eye-opening session, and it gives true inspiration and insight the real leadership all about. By just 6 words, top hat. Thank you so much. I would like to call everyone, just give a big round of applause to DTM Charles. Now moving to the next segment for question and answer. Please everyone send your question to Toastmaster Safwan. Now I would like to invite our question and answer moderator, Dr. Toastmaster Salim Hakim. Please, Dr. Toastmaster Salim Hakim, over to you.
I know I'm a talkative person. This is why the administrator made sure that I don't get access to speak. DTM Charles, thank you so very much for being here with us. That is such a valuable information. Indeed, a secret recipe for a success, a great success, I must say. With your permission, I have questions that I would like to address you with. So let's start diving in. The first question, transparency. What, in your opinion, is the difference between transparency and blunt, outspoken? Over to you, sir.
When you are bluntly outspoken, that can be perceived very easily and be misunderstood as being either positive or negative. When I speak of transparency, I'm speaking of from a leadership perspective. When you, let me give you an example. When there's a merger or an acquisition that happens in different companies, many times the employees are blindsided at the last minute in terms of the devastating changes that are going to affect their lives the next day or the next week. Why not, as management or as leaders in whatever organization it is, including Toastmasters, why not, when you find those issues that are going to affect the lives of people who are directly reporting to you, be open and honest about it and let them know, listen, guys, ladies, in the near future and on this day, changes are coming. Be prepared. They may be devastating to your lives, so adjust your lives accordingly. Give them advance notice. Being bluntly outspoken can be perceived as, well, now you're taking an arrogant approach and we don't know whether or not to believe you. And that also comes with being humble.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. So transparency is a good thing, but the difference is considering those who report into you.
Exactly.
Well said. Sir, open-minded. What if short-term gain conflicts with the long-term gains? How are we supposed to handle this situation?
I think it depends on the situation and depends on the leadership, him or herself. In a short-term gain, what are those short-term gains going to be? Are they going to be for a week? Are they going to be for a month? Are they going to be for a year? What is the duration of the short-term gains? Long-term gains is, we're usually thinking in terms of months or perhaps years out. It depends on the person. It depends on the situation. And from a person perspective, if that person has a history or the reputation of being that person that you can go to for information when you need it, I think that makes a big difference too. So again, it depends on the person and it depends on the specific situation.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Now, you have said top and one of the letters, top hat. So you said H is humble. What if we end up with an arrogant leader? What do you suggest we should do?
Well, you know what, guys, I look at it this way. We only live once on this earth. And chances are you willing to sacrifice your happiness to be in a place where you're dissatisfied? There's this thing called the rat race, and many of us in this world are in it. We get stuck in a situation, we get stuck with a job, and then we get bills, we get family, we get all of the responsibilities that go along with that. And then for whatever reason, we may not be able to get out of that and think that this job, I must hold on to it with everything I've got. Again, it depends on the situation and it depends on the person. Personally, I would advise you to market yourself, to be marketable to others so you can exit that situation, because chances are that person will not change. You need to be the one that changes.
Perfect. Very good advice. Thank you so much. If everyone followed your advice, we would never be upset from any arrogant leader.
It's not always doable, but whenever possible, make it happen. Don't live your life in misery. I mean, that's just the reality of the life. Don't live your life in misery because of one person.
Very true. Sir, moving on again to transparency, and this has been a dilemma to some of the members. When we say transparency, how does Toastmaster
support the idea of anonymous judges in contest. Where is the transparency in that term, in your opinion, sir?
From the anonymity of the judges. Judges are supposed to be anonymous. Now, obviously, if you have a contest and there's 6 people there, the judges are going to be known. Now, this brings me to an interesting point. I'm a big fan of contests in this organization. Why? Because I believe that it's one of the platforms we have to showcase what we do to the world, which means that I don't, and again, you asked my opinion, I don't think there should ever be an area or division contest with less than 50 people. If you have those numbers in attendance, your judges will not be known. They will not be known. But again, if there are 10 people in there and you have to have 5 judges, it's pretty obvious who the judges are going to be. On that note, if I can, really quick, some of you may be asking, well, how do you get 50 people at an area contest? You know how you do it? The area directors, when they go and visit these clubs, there's a simple word to accomplish that. And it's 3 letters, A-S-K, ask. Everyone now has one of these on them with their calendar in it. If you ask a person at a club meeting, let's say, for example, I'll make this very quick. Let's say a person does tabletops and they really do it well. They're a brand new member, and they do it really well. You simply walk up to them and say, you know what? That was really well done. You know what? A person with your energy, I've got an opportunity for you. Would you consider being a ballot counter in a contest coming up in XYZ date? You will be the perfect person. And before you answer that question, you will not be alone. I'll surround you by a comfortable team of experts to help you in this track. What are they going to tell you? They're going to tell you yes on the spot. And you tell them. And then the second thing is, very quickly, if practical, have a new club host that contest. What does that do? That gives you a multitude of the entire club that's going to be in attendance with their family, with their friends, and you assign everyone a job. You handle the food, you're by the elevator, you're doing this, you're doing this. So you give everyone in the club a job to do. That's how you get 50 people there, and that's how you keep your judges anonymous.
Very good, sir. What, in your opinion, then it would be a wisdom to have the judges anonymous in a contest? What's the wisdom behind that? If we were going to speak about transparency in general.
Well, when it comes to transparency, the judges should be anonymous. I mean, there should be. Which brings to another question in terms of the training of the judges, because we know in Toastmasters, all judges are not good. Again, we talk about good and the bad, not necessarily the bad, but the not so good. Every judge is not a good judge. From a judging standpoint, we as district leaders need to make sure that when we are choosing judges, we are choosing the right people who have the open-mindedness to not be biased and to not be judgmental, but to look at the sheet and say, this person did the best job on this day, not taking into account everything that happened in the past.
Very good. So thank you very much. Moving on with the next question. It has been a case of concern where corporate organizations, being yourself a businessman, wherever there is a crisis, the company would let go employees, old employees with experiences, and would keep new employees. What is the correct approach to this situation then?
Well, as a business owner myself, I think that's the wrong approach, because we first of all, we need to value everyone. We need to value everyone on our team. And I think just to dismiss anyone because of a crisis is the wrong approach. Why is that the wrong approach? Because each person is a valued member of your team. Are you just going to get rid of a person because they happen to have a bad attitude, because they happen to not be performing well enough? You lead up to, this is where the performance reminders, the performance evaluations, whatever they're called in your company, are so important, because the person should be talked to on everyone. When I say a person, everyone should be talked to on a regular basis to assess their value to the organization. So when a crisis does come up, and it is inevitable that some people will be let go for whatever reason, those people who have been told over and over again that these are the areas of improvement, if they have not improved in those areas what they already know about, if they happen to be the first ones on the chopping block, so be it.
That's a very good advice, sir. Thank you very much for being so justified. How can a servant serve their roles without pampering themselves with the propaganda, the media, the flash cameras? How could that really do in your prospect?
Well, again, that comes back to being humble. It comes back to being humble, regardless of what you achieve in life. And some of us are going to achieve accolades in life that are going to bring the cameras. They're going to bring the reporters. They're going to bring people in our faces to say, ooh, ah, ooh, we love you. We've got to be mature enough, number one, mature enough to say, you know what, I know I've done this, but think about it. None of us do these things. None of us have reached the pinnacle of our success on our own. So we've got to be humble enough to acknowledge those who have helped us along the journey, give them praise along the way, and be humble in your approach. Because if you're not, and you're sucking in all of that, all of those accolades and the flashing bulbs and everything else, and oh, look at me, you're not a leader. You're simply a figurehead.
Agreed. Can't agree more, sir. At times, leaders who have spent so long in a certain position, consider themselves, for example, in Toastmasters, they would hold on to a certain beliefs, norms, and policies, and they would be reluctant to welcome new ideas or promote new ideas. What's your one advice to deal with those type of leaders?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, we deal with them often, and I will tell you, I am in 2 home clubs myself. And one of my home clubs, and I hope they're not listening, but one of my home clubs, whenever this gentleman happens to be the Toastmaster of the day or journey evaluator, the one thing he will say is, we need to work on our salutations. Every speech should start off with, good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Now, we're all hoping to be better communicators. Now, I will tell you, I don't ever, ever, ever say that. Why? Because as speakers, as we know, we have 5 to 7 seconds to capture that audience's attention. And saying, good evening, Toastmasters and guests, that takes up a good 3 freaking seconds. So now that window is now shortened to 4. And if you lose them, now you got to throw the bait back out there and you got to reel them in to get them back on your team. And this is my advice. Let me tell you, look, you guys know, I'm very blunt. I'm very honest. And I tell it like it is. The most toxic members in Toastmasters International are those past district leaders. Why? Because they still want to be relevant. They still want to be the person that knows it all. Now that we're going away from the legacy program, strictly into pathways, now they're going to be looking for something else. So this is my advice to the leaders. Do not discard the old leaders who may have a bad attitude. They're still a valuable part of our organization. They are part of the wheels that make it run. But this is how you handle them. Give them something to do. I'm an RA, and I will be an RA for the next 16 days. I have 2 successors, and my first advice to my 2 successors was find those toxic leaders. The district directors know who they are. Give them something to do. Give them a project. Give them something to do on a regular basis that takes the focus or puts the focus on that, as opposed to let's find what's wrong with this organization or this person. Take the focus. Give them the respect that they deserve of being relevant, but give them something to do specifically. And don't disrespect them in the process.
That's a very wise advice. Thank you so much. Would following the recipe, top hat, would guarantee us gaining trust of our team? Or do you suggest an additional formula to that?
Well, top hat, I've come up with top hat because it's simple and it's easy to remember. If you want to be as successful as you can, there are a plethora of other things that you can do. For example, from a Toastmasters perspective, most of us want to be either better communicators, leaders. I mean, in essence, that's all we offer. We offer communication and leadership. But the problem is so many of us are bad communicators and we're bad leaders. We should be taking this journey in this organization to master both of those channels, become better communicators. And this is an acronym I'm going to share with you, that was shared with me, that I'm going to pass it on to you. It's called POKER. It's like the card game, poker, P-O-K-E-R. And it's very simple. If you do this in every speaking situation, you'll be a better speaker, better communicator. And this could also apply to communicating with your teams to make them better. Very simple. Very quickly, the P is for point. Have a good point. Have a point to your story, to your message. The O stands for opening. And a good opening for Toastmasters is not, "Good morning, Toastmasters and guests." A good opening is telling a story, giving a statistic, giving something like that that's going to bring me into your world. The K is for connect, because if you don't connect, you have no effect. So the K is for connect. Even though I know it starts with a C, it's a K. And the E is for emotions. Speak to the emotions of your audience. In this question, you're speaking to the emotions of those who are looking up to you or looking for your guidance. And last, the R is for remember. Give them something to remember and respect them while you're sharing the message.
Well, I'm loving, sir, that you have blended your experience and made it in such an easy to remember acronyms that we will never forget. Since we have approached the end of the time, I would like to kindly request you to give us that one advice to District 79 that we shall always follow. Over to you, sir.
Like I like to share with Region 7, keep swimming. Remember that, I'll make this very quickly. Remember probably the little cartoon Nemo, the little fish.
Of course.
If you remember the cartoon Nemo, you remember the time when Nemo was reunited with his father Marlin. They were reunited, they hugged, they kissed, and they embraced each other. As they were headed back home, they ran into a big school of grouper fish. Down comes this net from the top of the seas and scoops all these fish up. They're frantic, they don't know what to do. Meanwhile, Nemo takes charge. He says, "Daddy, tell all the fish to swim down." They started swimming down. They started chanting, "Keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. We can do it, just keep swimming, just keep swimming." That, District 79, is my advice to you. Keep swimming until you reach the finish line. Keep swimming until your members have gotten and reached the goals that they hope to reach. Keep swimming until you have accomplished everything that you're hoping to do. Keep swimming until your members have taken this organization, have embraced it, and are sharing it with others. So District 79, my parting words to you are keep swimming, because ultimately this is a team sport.
Wonderful, sir. Transparent, open-minded, positive attitude, top. Humble, approachable, stay on the top of the game, top hat is the secret recipe our wonderful DTM Charles Gates have shared with us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. DTM Charles, on behalf of every one of us, and over back to moderator.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salim Hakim. It was a wonderful and very interesting session and very informative session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DTM Charles Gate. Now we have come for a final segment. I would like to invite our district director to share a few words about the session. Thank you so much. DTM Samir Kamal.
Yes, I was driving. I just arrived home. Thank you a lot, distinguished Toastmaster Charles. That's what I actually expect. Actually, more than what I expected. You didn't give us the top hat, but you gave us the poker also. Thank you a lot, Charles. Very simple message, but valuable. And it's much needed nowadays and in the coming year. All of us will keep swimming till the end, till we achieve our goals. And I promise you that I will not be a toxic leader after I finish my year. I'll make myself busy somewhere else. Thank you a lot, and I hope our people, our participants enjoyed this evening as much as I enjoyed. And I hope that we'll take the message that we learned today and share it with our clubs, because learning only by ourselves will not benefit us as much as we spread the knowledge to our community so we can uplift ourselves, all of us together. So please, as we learned, let's share it so we can grow all together. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Fariz.
Thank you so much, District Director DTM Samar Kamal. I really enjoyed being host this evening, and I would like to tell everyone the next episode will be 20th of June, same Saturday, 5 o'clock, and our special guest will be our International President, DTM Deepak. So please make sure you book your time, you just allocate your time to attend for coming week. And also, I want to thank my team behind this successful series, DTM Samar Kamal and DTM Madam Samina, my advisors, and my dynamic action team, Dr. Salim Hakim, Toastmaster Fahim, Toastmaster Fazmi, DTM Noman. So we are ending the session, and we'll have another 5 minutes to socializing, and I will give my lecture to our virtual system manager, DTM Noman. Over to you, DTM Noman. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fariz. Now the floor is open. If anyone would like to speak, you can unmute yourself and please speak.
Give us the picture. Full picture, please.
Yes, everyone, please turn on your video. We will have a beautiful screenshot.
I'm waiting for more windows to open. Okay, half are open. DTM set. Right, let me put the record in the gallery view so you'll have a beautiful video as well. Yeah. Okay. 10 more seconds for the rest of our members to turn on their video. Can we have everyone, please? Yes, DTM Samer, DTM Ses, Toastmaster Petra, DTM Rua, DTM Adil, Toastmaster Hussein, Zahra, Niroz, Samina. All right, everyone, thumbs up, and here we go. Beautiful, thank you very much. Oh, one more window is open, one more time. Yeah. Wow, beautiful. Excellent, thank you very much. Yes, now the floor is open for a few minutes. You can unmute yourself and speak.
I would like to very quickly thank the announcement which has been made for the 20th of June by inviting the president of TMI. I'm gonna be there, trust me.
Most welcome, DTM Abdul Fattah. You are our regular attendee, and we like your Siko as well.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you, everyone, guys.
Wonderful.
Take care,
DTM
guys.
Charles, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Charles. It was
All right, you guys connect with Region 7 and invite me to one of your club meetings. I'll attend.
Yeah, sure.
Take care,
We'll
guys.
be glad to have you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Charles. Thank
Thank
you,
you, Samir, for the invitation.
Thank you.
Didi.
We'll see you. Thank you, wonderful team, for handling this session.
Can you send us the track, the music track? I think it's cool. I mean, we should be able to.
I will send you. I'll send you the link.
It was the track for the 1 hour with DD.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
100%. Okay, guys. Good night. Salam alaikum.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Salam. Thank you. Thank you. So one more wonderful event, Toastmaster Fariz. Shall we conclude?
Yes, please.
Congratulations, Toastmaster Fariz.
Thank you, my team. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was another wonderful event by District 79 and the host, Toastmaster Fariz. Wonderful team, Toastmaster Fazmi, sorry. DTM Abdul Ghafoor, Toastmaster Samir, Toastmaster DTM Adil. DTM Ses, are you still here? I think DTM just is busy. So, all right, until we see you all next week with our international president,
Yes.
DTM Deepak. Masalama.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Good night.
Stay
Good
safe.
night.
Assalamu alaikum.
See you next time. Good night. Bye-bye.